to this computer. Okay, so we're recording. Yep, Brian's back, so he can share the links. So I don't know if there's any new people here, but we're doing JavaScript 30 challenges. And today we're gonna do this Ajax type ahead one. It's like an input and then you type and then it filters the input based on what you type. So we're gonna do that. And then I wanted to try out some libraries today because we gotta do some data fetching. The data fetching is simple though, because we're not using an API. We're just fetching this static JSON file that's like hosted on Gist, which is just pretty good. If you have data that doesn't change, that's a good way to do it. Or you can just commit the actual JSON to your project. But if it is being maintained by like someone else is like manually updating the data, then you can always just pull it up from like Gist, pull it up from the static data. But I wanted to try out SWR because it looks super awesome and I haven't tried it yet. So I'm gonna try it out with all of you here. It's a library, it's a hooks library for data fetching. So that, and then I'm gonna use React highlight words. I actually use this at work, so I thought it was pretty cool. So when I saw the video where it's like highlighting the words, I immediately thought of that. So we'll try to use these two. It looks pretty simple. I haven't actually used this at work. I just saw it in the code base. It was already implemented. So, okay, so let's get started. We use code sandbox. If anybody hasn't been here, we've done 5 already. So let me see. We always just do new sandbox and then we just click React to get the React template. And then let me give you all the link if you wanna, just in case we tag people in to start typing stuff. That's the live link. And also before I forget, give out my LinkedIn if everybody is not connected with me and wanna connect. Okay, before we start coding, any questions or comments? Or are we all good? We all good? Okay, I take silence as no question or comments. Okay, so we don't have that much to copy today. We're gonna need this. Let's see. So that's the endpoint. Let's put it outside. Close the sidebar. So we got the endpoint. We need, we need the CSS. Let me copy the HTML first. This form. Oh, how come that didn't copy over nicely? What did I do? Oh. Doesn't like something I'm typing. Does anybody see what?
We probably need what's that empty tag thing called again?
You need like a div wrapper.
Are you importing React or that already imported?
It's you need a React fragment or a div around around everything.
No, but you have form already wrapped around everything. I think
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
Sam, it looks like your input tag. Yeah, that's it.
There you go. Okay, so we need the styles. Code sandbox. If you're missing like a closing tag on an input, it just screws everything up. So let's get the styles.
Shouldn't it be a class name right here?
What is that?
The class name, you have an input type text class equals search, would be class name.
Yeah, maybe I missed it. But I haven't copied the styles in, so that's why it's not showing up. So let's wipe this up. Boom. Okay. Now we got this. So I keep closing the side, but I need the side. Let's see. So we're gonna need SWR. So it's just called SWR. Let's see. SWR. So this thing looks dead simple to use. Let's see if it actually is that easy to use. Let's see. So there's this, use SWR. We need a fetcher function.
Sam, is there a reason you're using this over Axios? You just like want to try it out?
This is totally different from Axios. This,
oh, okay.
You can go read about it later. It does all kinds of stuff for you so that it like gives you, it keeps track of whether you're in like a loading state, an error state. It caches the response, and then based on the key, like it won't refresh until like certain things happen. You can configure how you want it to happen. Like by default, it will fetch on mount, and then it will never fetch again unless you explicitly tell it to. There's all kinds of stuff like that.
It's way more React focused.
Yeah, it's like React Query, but it's a lot simpler.
All right, cool. I'll check it out.
I don't know if you use React Query. Like these two are popular, and SWR is popular now because Vercel makes it, and Vercel is the one that makes Next.js, and they're like a popular hosting platform now. But like,
have you heard of Use Async? It's very similar, I think.
Oh, a what?
Use Async.
Oh yeah, that's nowhere near as powerful as these though. These things are like way better. It does all these kind of things. Okay. Conditional fetching, mutation, pagination. You can use GraphQL with it. You can do pagination. You can do it can do polling. All that stuff is all built in, and the API is like super easy to use. So I used to use React Query, but like it's like more complicated now. Like it got pretty complicated. There's like all kinds of stuff, and it has a similar API to SWR. They both like kind of operate in the same way, where you give it like a key and then you give it a fetcher function. But React Query has like it's more powerful, I think. Like it allows you to do like a lot more things, but that makes the API a little bit more harder to figure out how to use. So I use React Query a lot, so I wanted to try this SWR one just because this one looks dead simple. It only, like, you just get the data. The other good thing is, like, you know, if you have a parent component and children, if you use this hook with the same key, you get the data in that parent component. So like it like contains all your state. You can use this instead of like Redux or MobX or React Context or anything. You can use this as your state management like solution.
Like your data provider almost in a way. Yeah,
but then you don't, it's like abstracted away. Like you just use this hook. As long as you use the same key, it's not gonna refetch at least by default. So if I use the same line inside of my like child component, I think, just from what I read I just read the page earlier today. You get the cache data. So like, that's just a way to like access the data in a child component. And then it just keeps the code simple like this. Look how simple this is compared to like Redux, when you have to like set up all the boilerplate and you say like, is loading, is fetching, all that kind of stuff. And then you gotta like reset it, and there's like so much boilerplate, and this thing doesn't have any boilerplate. All you do is this, And then if there's an error, you display an error. And if there's no data, that means it's loading. So it seems like I really like the simplicity of the API. So let's try and do it. There's an example of a fetcher function. So
yeah, and from what it looks like anyway, like the fetcher looks like we need to use like fetcher Axios, just from the documentation.
You don't have to. I'm just going to use this. I'm going to use the built-in fetch. It allows you to pick if you want to use Axios for your fetcher, or you can use GraphQL. That's the like power of it. You can mix and match. You can use all different kinds of fetchers, and all you do is you pass in a different fetcher. So let's see. I think you can just, we're going to use this fetcher, and then I think we can just do something like this. Let's see.
How much harder would this be with raw React?
This is React. What do you mean, like not using a library?
Yeah.
I mean, you would have to build out everything they built out. So you can go look at the source code to see like how difficult it is to build. But like, I mean, it does quite a bit of things. So it's probably quite a bit of code to, if you want to implement everything that they, like if you wanted to rebuild this library.
Oh, okay.
It's probably quite a bit of code.
Yeah, it's probably not worth doing.
But yeah, and there's no sense like why you want to rebuild it unless you want they already built the awesome tool, you might as well pull it in, right?
Right.
So, like the only time you don't do that is like if the library like maybe not well maintained, or you don't trust the people who make it, or it's really big and it'll bloat like your code base, or you don't need all the stuff, you only need like some simple part of it. So then you don't need to pull it in. But like if you're just playing around in Code Sandbox, I would just pull in any library, just play around with stuff, because even if you don't need the whole thing, you can just get ideas on how they design their API, and then you can just make your own code that's more simple, but you can like copy the way that they design their library. It's just a way to like learn patterns too, if you want to like try out other libraries. That's probably how React Query started. I don't know which one came first. I don't know if SWR came first or React Query, but like React Query is pretty nuts. It's only one person, I think. Maybe they have a team building it now. I donate money to this guy, Tanner Lindsley, I think is his name. Where is it? See, there's me right here. I donate to him. This guy, Tanner Lindsley, he makes a bunch of open source projects. So I donate to like a few different developers. I don't know if I'm gonna keep donating though, because I don't use the library anymore. I don't know why I keep donating to him. I guess I support what he's doing. He makes awesome tools. So let's see. So I think this is how you do it. Let's try console log the data. Look at that. It just works. See, look how clean this is. There's no use effect. There's no promise chain. There's no async await. All I do is just one line and boom, I get data. It caches it. It doesn't keep fetching it over and over. It does fetch it again by default, like if the user clicks outside of the screen and then they refocus, then it like fetches it again, I think. Well, maybe it didn't do that though. Let's see. Maybe you gotta configure it. I thought that was by default, like
it could be like, it could be a Code Sandbox thing. I remember we were having that problem last week, so it could be that.
Yeah, It could be, but like they have a thing called like revalidate on revalidation on focus. So like that's like if the computer, if the user like leaves the computer and then comes back, it kind of knows like since the user left and it should refetch the data. So yeah. Oh, so React query was first then. I wonder if SWR just copy the API, or it looks like it's a spec or something. I haven't looked at this this spec. Maybe they developed the API based on what this RFC is. I'm not sure. I never gone that deep down the rabbit hole yet. But yeah, I've used async before. I use async before I found React query, because React query, both of these are popular right now. SWR and React query are both popular libraries right now. Just because it's just way cleaner than writing. Like if you see a lot of people's code, it would be like they will do like use effect on mount, and then they like fetch the data, and then you got to catch the error, and then you set in state, you set a loader, and you set an error. That's like so much more code than one line. Like even this fetcher, you can configure it globally. So in your whole app, you don't even need to include the fetcher. You can just include the endpoint from what I was looking at the docs. So it's like super clean. It makes the code like super readable. Okay, so what we're gonna do? We got the data. That's the first part. So now we gotta display the data. Let's see. So first of all, how should we do this? Filter for a city or a state. So when we get the data, first of all, we gotta like store what we type in here. Anybody wanna attempt to do that part? Can we start tagging people in, or do you want me to code? How do you guys want to do it this week? Like the first step before the backup, if nobody volunteers. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want to volunteer? Like before
I'll
we
do the
start
try.
filtering, we got to keep track of what the user is typing into this box.
I can get some of the way there, I think. I'll
Okay.
give it a shot.
Are you in the code sandbox?
I am in the code sand. Let me
Can you repost the link?
Yeah.
I'm in read only. Hold on. How do I get?
I gotta enable you, but I need your like code sandbox username. I
Oh,
only see
okay.
I only see 5 people in there.
I'm
right now.
AEMANN2 up there. It looks like.
Oh
can
yeah, I see you.
up there. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. If you want to just set up the state for the input so we can keep track of what the users typing in.
Import state from React. There we go. And then I'm going to do, let's see, const equals.
Let's call it
yeah, something else.
Like query or search or something like that.
Okay.
In brackets or curly braces? Or am I wrong on that?
What is that?
Should it be in brackets or in curly braces?
Yeah, it should be square brackets. Here, instead of curly braces.
Right here.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Query instead query.
Oh yeah.
And then here will be.
Wait, you want to rename the setter to like set query just to keep it consistent.
Set query. And then we'll do on change equals. I usually just do this for the first one. Then if I have another on change, I'll make a better name for it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Event. Dot. I think that's.
Yeah, we can check console log it just to see if it's working.
Yeah, console.log data.
Query.
Yeah,
Query. See, I'm seeing the one above it and I keep getting the two confused. Thank you guys.
You have to
Okay.
console log it inside the onChange function.
We can do it here because it will re-render after whenever the query updates. So let me type so everyone can see, since my screen is the one that's so New York. Yeah, so it's working. So we got that step. First of all, we're not making a whole app, so I'm gonna disregard the errors.
Okay.
we're just gonna assume it works. So now we got the let's console log the data so we can see the data, the format of the data again. Because we're gonna need to search city or state based on what you typed. So if people are here for what was that? The first one we did. Does anybody remember? Was anybody here when we were doing like filtering? It was the array cardio, I think. We did something similar like this where you had to like filter the data. So let's see. So there's a city key on each object and there's a state key. So how can we filter? We get this data. How can we filter that data based on the search? So like if the query is new, how can we filter out the data for any of the objects that contain the word new in the city or state? Does anybody want to attempt to do that part? We can put it in a variable called like filtered data or something.
I would probably do like a substring, like but every like do an array filter on the city and then an array filter on state, and then like do a substring check.
You want to try and do it?
What was the variable name that you wanted to try?
I typed it right here. I just put filtered data, but I'm just
filtered data. Okay, then I would do filtered data, and then I would take, let's say, the data.
No, do you want? Can I tag you in so you can type?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm a read only, so.
Which name are you?
Ian Canino. Sorry.
Canino Dev.
Yeah, that's one. That's me. I think I see that name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I tagged you in. So let's get you typing.
So like filtered data to be something like data, and then city filter, right? And then something along the lines of.
Well, you don't want to filter on the city. You want to filter on the data. The data is the array, and then each item,
like that, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Filter returns an array, right?
Yep. So you want to check the city and the state. So pull out the state as well, not just the city.
Oh.
You want to check if the query is in the city or if it's in the state. You want, because we're letting them search by city or state. Right. So you got to check both.
So since we're doing both, I'll probably do something like if city substring. I think that was the check, right? Substring is the array. The function on the string.
You can probably use includes. You can use either regex or you can use. I think you can use includes, right?
And then
you can use both.
The query. Actually.
Yeah, you can make it shorter. You can make it more terse. You don't need if. You can just do. You can just do or.
Yeah, if you only return the one that's not undefined, right?
Well, this will return a Boolean, no matter what.
Oh, like I know if you're trying to do an assignment, it will assign it to like assign the like the non-undefined one, right? So if
Yeah,
we
we're
do-
not doing an assignment though.
That's what we would return, though, right? Like we would return that.
No, filter expects you to return a Boolean. So
Okay.
that is correct what you're typing.
Okay.
Let's see, you got an extra. Let's see what's going on here. What is it? Canary property filter of undefined. Oh, so data is undefined. So here, you can either do this,
Oh, data and yeah.
or you can do this. If there's no data, then just to make it so that it doesn't explode. Because on first render, I think data is empty.
Wait,
Because-
couldn't you? Isn't the shorthand? May I? Isn't the shorthand
Yeah.
nowadays this? Like where you can.
Oh
just
yeah,
do,
yeah, you probably can. Yeah, you probably can do
that's
that.
the shorthand nowadays, right? Like if you.
Before the dot, yeah.
That one, yeah.
General chaining.
So it looks like.
Wait, let me see.
Here.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we got the filter data. Do you want to keep doing it now? So like, what we want to do is if there's no filtered data, what should we display? I guess we'll display this if the query is empty. And then if the query is not empty, then we'll display the results. Well, let's just not think about like the no results edge case for now. Let's just do either if there's no query, these LIs render. If there is a query, we want to render the city and the state name.
Right. Let's see, datum, right? I don't know. And then we want to return the li. Oh, maybe we want the index. And you said you want the full information or just the string? Do we want to return like its latitude, longitude, or just return?
What is that?
Do we want to return its latitude? Like we don't need to return the whole object, right?
So we might need to do it a little differently. So we want to do it. So if you look at his thing, he has it like this, where he's rendering the city, state, and it looks like population, I think. But we can forget about the population. Let's just keep it simple. Let's just do city and state first. So how can we do that?
So I guess what we want to do is the object.
You can destructure it just like you were doing before, because we only need the city and state. Instead of writing datum, you put, why don't we destructure the city and the state?
What is datum as a variable name?
It's the singular of data.
Yeah, I
like saying item or something.
Yeah, I don't know what else to call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, it's not. I'm missing something here. Wait. No, this should be in curly.
I don't think you ended the map.
Yeah, I didn't. I think that should. Let me see. Hold on. Right. Okay.
You need one more curly brace.
Yeah, you're right. I always hate like trying to keep track of those things. All right.
Let's
What am I
see.
missing?
Cannot read map of undefined.
So you need the question mark again after filtered data.
Oh, so if it's not filtered, then it gives you everything.
Well, and what we can do is just have it check to
But-
see.
Yeah, we wanna, so like I said, we can check to see if the queries, if we have a query, if there's not a query, you want that text that you deleted, you can go, I can grab it again. Let's see. Let's see.
Something like that? No?
It was here. I'll type it in. I don't know how you want to like display this though. I'm gonna just type it in the bottom. Oops.
I already put a conditional in there. You want me to get rid of it?
So let's see. Okay, but we want to give the people a hint. So we want this filter for a city, or we can add that in later. We don't need that. Let's just leave it off for now. Okay.
Make sure start typing in new.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, it'll give you that.
Okay, let's see. So that part is not super important, so let's just forget about it and we can add it back in later if we got time. Okay, so now let's see. Now if we do new. Oh, that's not working though.
Oh, so it checked for case. It's case sensitive. So if you type in capital NEW, then it will give you all of it.
Okay, so let's fix that part. So let's see. So we can just lowercase it here to, oh, how should we do this? To lowercase, we can just lowercase both. It's kind of redundant, but whatever. Let's just state that to.
The only problem is like when you output it, like when the list shows up, it's also going to be in lowercase, right?
No,
Oh, no,
I'm
it's
not. I'm not
Oh.
setting it. I'm just for the comparison. I'm downcasing it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's the main functionality we wanted, right? I think it seems like it's working. Let's see. Oh, bunny. Yeah, it seems like it's working. So let's do the highlighting, and then maybe we can add in the population. Well, we'll see. But before we go on, I just want to stop and see if anybody has any questions or comments about what we did just now.
Kind of have a question if you're going to use it in like a code base versus not fancier new stuff, like the optional chaining where on line 12 you include the, or I guess we include the question mark at the end of data. Since that's like, actually I don't know if that's new, but since that's, yes, I think it's relatively new. I think it came out like 1 or 2 years ago, like ES 2020 or something. But like, we probably wouldn't use that in a code base because, like, or I guess would we use that in a code base because it's.
I do. I use it. I think people use it.
Legacy code.
It depends how you have your like Webpack set up and stuff, but like at Lyft, my team had TypeScript, and TypeScript would transpile it into
the equivalent,
whatever the normal. I think you need to double check.
Yeah, I think it would be probably in the style guide, like use this instead of this.
Yeah, but like now that I'm looking at it, I think what I had before was better because then that ensures that it's in. Then we don't need to do the question mark again later, because now it won't be undefined, and we don't need this here. So now, because now you make sure. Now you should make sure it's in array.
I've actually never seen that pattern before. That's new to me.
Yeah, I'm more used to seeing this.
The what?
Yeah, what is this saying? I'm trying to figure this out, looking at
So
it.
if data is undefined, you will use the array, an empty array instead. So it won't.
This is like the old
Blow
way
up
of
everything.
doing it, and then now it's like, this is knowledge coalescing, it's called. I think that's what it's called. It just
Yeah.
means it doesn't, instead of or does it's like, if this is a truthy value, this is if it's undefined or no. It's called knowledge coalescing. It came out in the same time with optional chaining. So it's just a little shortcut to make sure this thing is always an array. You could do it, it's just a little shortcut. Then we don't need to like do the optional chaining again down here. It's just, we know that this thing is an array.
Have you seen that shortcut on the last line? Like if it's defined and assigned and not. I mean, this is really new. On line 47, where you have the true, the or followed by the equal. Oh,
What is that?
on line 47, have you seen that before? It's like, I think that's really new, where you can assign a value to the variable if it's not already defined.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't find that very readable. I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe I'm just
Okay.
I'm not used to it yet. I haven't used that. I think other languages have similar kind of stuff. But I think optional chaining and knowledge coalescing is already kind of common. You see that already in code people, right? Okay. Any other questions before we do the highlighting?
Yeah, just to Brian's point, like doesn't Babel like compile everything down to like ES 2015 anyway? So like even if we use like ES 2020 features, like you'd be fine.
Oh, what is that again?
Babel.
Yeah, so that's why I said it depends how you set up your
Set up the Webpack.
Yeah, because you got to configure like how you want it to transpile the code.
Forgot about that.
So you gotta put like, I haven't set up a Webpack in a while. What do you call it? Like level 1, level 2, or something like that. So
How hard
Yeah.
it is? How hard is it to learn setting up like Webpack?
well, first of all, there's no sense you learn it unless you gotta do that. So if you
Yeah,
just
for like a junior dev position, would that be something you'd be expected to know? I've never had to touch Webpack, and I, like to
it
avoid it.
depends. It depends. Like it depends what the app is doing, and do you
Okay.
need to configure it? And is there someone else who already configured it? Like there might be a whole team that can like do that kind of stuff.
Does create React app comes with Webpack already configured?
It is, but you can eject it
Okay,
if you
yeah.
need to customize it. But once you eject it, you can't put it back in. So you only want to do it if you got to do like things that it doesn't do out of the box. But like anything like create React app or create next app, all that kind of stuff has, it just tries to pick like defaults that it thinks mostly everybody needs. So any other questions? Okay, let's try install this React highlighter thing. So React highlight words. So the API looks super simple. It looks like it's made by this React guy, Brian Vaughn. I don't know if people follow him. He also makes React window, I think, which is another good library. It's for like, sometimes when you have lists that are like massive, the browser can only efficiently render like 1,500 DOM nodes, I think, at a time. So if you have a list and your list is rendering 50,000 things, that's when you would use like React window. I think it's called React window. Let's see. Yeah, see, same guy, Brian Vaughn. So I follow him on Twitter.
Sam, at what
ma-
point do you think to like go and look for a library for something? As if it's just something that you find difficult, or I never think to look for a library. I always try to do it, and then I don't know, or are these just things you happen to know about?
Well, because this is like a pain in the ass, I would just Google, is there, I actually did that today. I watched
Yeah.
the West Boss thing, and he's like
Yeah.
doing it by hand. So it's not super complicated, but like I just wanted to show you guys this library because
Cool.
we use it at my work for this same use case, for like when you're typing the search.
So
highlights
basically, if there's
the
something that's kind of painful to do, it might be worth looking to see if there's a library that can do it.
Yeah, so like this simple thing, because and it's like popular, and it's like I know this dude, like if it was just some rando and it only had like one download a week, maybe then I wouldn't do it. But like if there's a popular library that's getting 200,000 downloads a week made by somebody awesome, I rather trust the code they make than like some crappy thing that I wrote myself.
Yeah. Okay.
It
Cool.
would also be dependent on the company, right? Like some companies just want to keep the dependency down low, or or rather just have like something that they know will be maintained. I mean, it really depends on what your job requirements are. Like if you're in a deadline, yeah, go ahead, use the library, right?
Yeah, it depends on all kinds of stuff, but like I don't know. I mean, if I know already, like React already has a lot of things. Like I wouldn't write this thing from scratch. Hell no. I wouldn't write React window. This thing is already like everybody. Look at 10,000 stars. Everybody uses this thing. It's just a known. It's a known thing. So I like already know like a bunch of these like libraries. So if I already know, otherwise I do a quick Google search. Because I just want to focus on building my app, like the business. I want to build out the focus on the business logic of my app. I don't want to worry about building all these like little like highlighters and data fetching and like windowing tools. Like open source is awesome. I can just grab other people who wrote awesome code already, and then I just focus on building my app, and I can go way faster. So
but insofar as like when you're developing for your portfolio to present, like on your GitHub page, I mean, what would you recommend as a good approach? Like, try to do it on your own, or?
Well, I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I don't have a portfolio. I never made one. When I do interviews and stuff, so the way I always got jobs is I just get referrals. Like I hang out and do stuff like this, and I hang out in a bunch of Slacks, and I communicate with people on Twitter. I did a lot of hackathons. I used to volunteer a lot, all that kind of stuff. So I just met a lot of people over the years, and I just get referrals for jobs. So I didn't really need a portfolio. In the interview, I just talk about like stuff I made at hackathons and stuff like that. So I don't, it's just more storytelling. You gotta develop the skill. If you're a good storyteller, you'll be successful in life. That's like one of the best skills to have. Is just to be able to tell engaging like stories. So yeah.
Sam has the best stories.
I'm not a great storyteller though.
But you have great stories.
I have a lot of stories. But yeah, I haven't like worked on that skill specifically.
Yeah, I think it's really relatable and they're awesome. So
it's a little long-winded though. I go like I'll just keep talking forever. I don't know how to make it concise. That takes like practice. It's just because I've done a lot of stuff because I don't like doing things in normal ways, and I just do things like how I want to do it. So I end up doing like a million different things. So that's why I have a lot of stories. Like I just move around. I did Peace Corps. I did Dev Boot Camp. I did Tulsa Remote. I just do all these different programs. So like I have a lot of stories. And I'm old, so older than a lot of people like getting into coding. So
I've been curious, Sam, but I don't know, maybe I don't know if you want to answer this in the recording, but how old are you? Or
I'm
you don't have to
41.
answer it too.
I'm 41.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't start coding professionally till I was 34. I was also I didn't have a retirement. I had pretty much $0 in 2013. I went down to almost, I had, my bank account was not zero, but it was sub $1,000 at one point. So I had like enough for like one more month of rent. And then I had to get a job. So yeah, that's how it started. Okay, where were we? Let's get at least the highlighting in before we wrap up. I'm gonna delete this. We don't need to put that in. That's just like grunt work. Let's see. So let's just copy paste the code. That's what I always do. Just copy this. Let's see. Oh,
Did you
I didn't
install
even,
the highlighter? Oh,
no, I didn't.
Sam, while you're working on that, can you tag me in so I can fix up the styling?
Sure. I thought we
Thank
already
you.
tagged you in. Or did we not tag you in?
No, not yet.
Oh, I typed in the wrong thing. See, wait. Let me tag you in and then copy paste the code. Let's see. Okay, I tagged you in. Let's see. Let me copy pasta. Okay, that one. I don't know why I didn't enter in the correct thing. Highlighter. But yeah, when you're just learning, it's good. It might be if you're just doing personal stuff, just to like try and build things from scratch, just to learn how these things are built. But it's good to do both. I don't know which way is better, because by using the popular library, you learn useful like API design patterns, like what's a good way to design the API for like a component.
Yeah, it would probably do me well to start using more libraries just so I feel like I have to build everything from scratch, and it's probably a good way to get out of that mindset is to focus more on seeing what
It's
other
just
people
like
have done.
in the
Yeah, when
real
you have
world,
that mind.
in the real world, you gotta like crank stuff out, especially like small startups and stuff. Like it's do or die. You don't have time to build
Yeah.
a highlighter.
yeah, because then you got to consider all the edge cases and everything, and this person already probably did all that stuff. So
Yeah, that's like 2 weeks of work that you don't need to do.
But I think also like too heavy an emphasis on frameworks might be not great for being a great programmer. Maybe that's like the difference between a good programmer. I don't know.
I think like I guess my perspective is what's your goal, right? So
I just want a
like
job. I'll worry about being great after I get a job.
right. So like your goal is to be able to deliver value, right? Like so your goal is to kind of
yeah,
get to the end result. So you should be training to get to the end result as fast as clean as possible. So, you know,
yeah.
getting
You
into
just
the go ahead.
you just gotta make sure like you don't want to pull in something that's not maintained. You know, if it's like some unknown project and the last commit was 3 years ago, and you have no idea who the author is, but it does what you want, maybe it might work, but like you should, like I don't just blindly like pull in dependencies. I go and I like read everything. I look at the documentation. I look who the people who make it is. I look how the last published. Sometimes the last published will be old because they just finished the library and it doesn't need any more updates. It just does something little and it does it really well, and they just don't make any more updates. So this doesn't always make sense, but like I also look who the authors is, and I'll take anything this guy makes. So there's just certain people like that. If I see their name on it, I'm like, this thing is probably good. So, and then I look how many like people are downloading it and how many stars it has and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of open source is like you just have the power of developers all over the world building stuff. And like the awesome thing about building React apps is the community is gigantic. So there's libraries, there's dependencies that do all kinds of stuff already. So you can just build your app faster. Because the main part of your job is building the app that you need for your company. It's not usually like building all these utility like components and stuff like that. You want to focus on building your app. Okay. Let's see. So, is it still work? Let's just make sure.
It does. Check it out.
Okay, let's do this highlighting. I'll copy and paste this thing here. So what did he put? West Boss made a class. It's just called HL. So I think it's just going to be HL. Search words is just our query. I don't know what the auto escape thing is, but I'm going to leave it on there because it's on the example.
I think you've got HI for the class name.
HI for the class name? Oh,
Yeah, highlight class name.
I see what you're saying. Let's see. So this is going to be city. Oops. City.
Insofar as like finding out whether the package is good to use, you can try out openbase.com. It's a pretty cool site. I don't know if you've heard of it.
What is that?
Insofar as like finding out if a package is good or it needs review or whatever, there's a cool website called openbase.com.
OpenBase?
Yeah, you've heard of it?
Maybe. I don't know. I just Google a lot of stuff. I don't remember all the.
Yeah, that's the one. And you just type in the package name and it'll tell you like the statistics, how much it's been downloaded, etc. In a nice little format.
There's also one where there's like similar libraries. I think that's not even the one I wanted though. It doesn't have the one that we're doing.
I think it has like the reviewed ones. I don't know how it holds its data, honestly.
So like when I was doing like so I was making these like charts. So there's so many different charting libraries. Before there wasn't that many. So I was researching the other day because I needed to make some like line charts. And then there's a site. So I went with React Viz, which is what Uber makes, because it seems pretty awesome. And like the library was pretty small and the API looked nice. So I did like React Viz versus like recharts, I think. That's another popular one. There's a library that shows you a graph, like the popularity. Is this the one? Yeah. Look at this. So this is awesome. So like recharts is still way more popular. Oh, how come React Viz didn't come up? Oh, it is. It's orange. So it's not as popular. It's more newer. Oh no, I can't. Yeah, it's the newest one.
I thought D3 was much more popular than that.
Well, that's if you need way more fine-grained control. If you look at the API, like for React Viz, what the code I ended up writing was like one line of code to make my chart. It was so easy. Or it was like, look how simple this is. And go look at like React D3. It's not gonna look like this.
Sam, it seems like you are a big fan of one-liners.
I like code that's easy to read. Like why make
No, yeah, I get it. I was trying to make it into a joke.
Like I needed to make
No
a
respect.
simple. I needed to make a simple line chart, not something that needs to be like customized and got to write raw D3 and stuff. There's a time and a place if you need all that, but if you don't need all that and you only need simple kind of stuff, just choose a simple library. And it's made by Uber, so it's probably good. Uber makes good open source software. Airbnb has one too. I forget what it's called. This library. VizX. There's a whole bunch of them. Like, so I started Googling it, and it's hard to choose because there's so many and they all look pretty good, but I ended up going with the Uber one, and I'm glad I did because it was like super easy. Like I like built out everything I had to build in one day, and like I think they were expecting me to take like a week to build it.
I have a quick
but it's
question.
because I just pulled in these libraries, and they like if I had to build like a line chart, it would have taken me longer. You know, I got to write like raw D3 and stuff, and I'm not like skilled at that. I don't remember how to write raw D3. It's been years since I wrote raw D3. What are you gonna say?
So I mean, I wanted to ask, when do you sit down? I guess this is kind of based on a previous question, but when do you sit down and kind of like, you know, like learn, I guess, concepts or mess around with stuff? Like,
All the time. When
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not, when I'm eating dinner, when I'm not super zombified, and sometimes I'm super zombified and I just need some YouTube or Netflix, you know, turn off my mind. I don't need to think.
Mhm.
But other than that, I watch tons of YouTube and like front end masters and Egghead and stuff. So I watch videos by just Google developers I like Kent C. Dodds or Lee Holiday is another person I like. I think I name dropped it on our meetup a lot. Like Lee Holiday has a lot of Lee. I don't know how. I think it's Lee Holiday. He's good. So yeah, subscribe to him. Kent C. Dodds has some good ones. Ryan Florence writes real good. He designs. Oh, I'm not subscribed to him. I gotta subscribe. Gotta hit the subscribe and like button. He makes. He's the one that made like React Router and stuff like that, or he's on the team that like makes that.
Mhm.
And he designs really nice APIs. So I like watching like his videos. The way some developers are really skilled at designing APIs that are just like nice. It's like easy to use, you know. Other people, they just like put a million props like on the component, and it's just like kind of hard to figure out how to use it. But like Ryan Florence, he like gave these conference talks on like how to make composable components. So I just watch that. I go to conferences, meetups. So I consume content all day long. Twitter, I'm on Twitter for minimum like 3 hours a day. I think even when I'm working, I think I spend like a minimum of 3. I consume just massive amounts of content. But it's mostly Twitter, YouTube, front end masters, and Egghead. Those are the main.
I really like Robin Weiwerk, this German guy. I mean, he does everything written. I prefer to read things than to watch a video on, because sometimes like hearing for me is hard. So I like
Yeah, you gotta find what you like. I do a little bit of everything, but I think I watch videos the most. That's my most common thing, because I can do that while I'm like eating dinner and stuff like that. But I like, especially when I was beginning, I read a lot of JavaScript books. I've read a ton of JavaScript books. Like definitely, I think what is that book that everybody reads?
You don't know JavaScript?
No, I hate that guy.
Eloquent JavaScript.
Eloquent, elegant.
Is it the cracking the coding interview?
I don't hate that guy, but I don't. It doesn't
Eloquent
click with-
JavaScript.
Yeah, eloquent JavaScript's my jam. I like eloquent Java. I don't watch any. Kyle Simpson's on front end masters, but I don't watch any of his videos. I just don't like it. I don't know. You just find people that you like, or I'm not logged in. But I like Will Sentence. I'll consume that. I watched a bunch of his videos. What is Brian Holt? Good. Oh, why is it not on? Oh, I spelled it brain. Brian Holt. His React courses are good on here. So I think I just watched the latest version. So if there's like version 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, watch the latest one because that's the newest one with the latest like content. They like do it over and over as like, because everything's always changing, you know. So they come back and they do it again and like show you all the new patterns and stuff. Kenzie Dodds, I think, has like an advanced, I think it's in here. He has advanced React patterns. Oh, is it not? There's
Maybe
part
take
on.
out the C.
Oh, C dot.
Oh, wow.
So testing, advanced. So he does a lot of testing, and these are kind of old though. I don't know if it has hooks and stuff. I don't think Kenzie does. He makes his own content now, so I don't think he's been updating the stuff from front end masters, because now he has like it's like a trend that's happening. So all the prominent developers are creating their own courses because they make a shit ton of money. Like Wes Bosch, like like if you look how many people pay for the course, and he gets all the money rather than doing like front end masters or egghead or something, you know. So he has all these courses now. So you can do Epic React. They all cost money, but it's probably worth it. Where I bought Wes Boss's one. I didn't even do it yet. I bought it on a Black Friday. Partly because I just like to support developers too. I bought this one, React, and I wanted access to the Slack. I'm in the Wes Boss Slack because I bought this course. He was selling it for cheap on Black Friday. Well, it was like $60 or something, which in normal price is like way more than that, I think. Let's see.
Have you heard of TouchNode? I just found that website yesterday, and it's free. I just don't know if the quality is good. I've only
No,
tried
I
one.
only know all the things that I just name dropped to you. Those are all the things that I use. I've also done a ton of Udacity courses. I like Udacity is one of my favorite MOOC platforms. I've done nano degree. I've done the self-driving car nano degree where I never finished. That one is like super intense. I've done, what else do I do? It depends. Sometimes my workplace gives free access, like Lyft had access to Udemy courses, so I could just do Udemy courses for free. Another company I worked at had like Safari books online for free. So I use that. Treehouse you get for free with the San Francisco library card. So I like Treehouse for CSS. I've done a whole bunch. I've done all the courses on Execute Program, I think. Well, all the front end courses. I first did it because I needed to learn TypeScript I needed to ramp up on TypeScript for Lyft because I never used TypeScript before. It's pretty fast to ramp up on TypeScript, but it was helpful to do these exercises on Execute Program. Like Execute Program helps you build muscle memory and like understand. They do really good explanations to explain like fundamental things in like regex and arrays and TypeScript and stuff like that. It's made by Gary Bernhardt. That's why I checked it out, because he's on my like Twitter list for like people that I like because I started doing Ruby, and he was like one of the prominent Ruby people. Where is it? So these are all the people on my list. I have, let's see. Where is he? I think he's on here. Gary Bernhardt, this dude. So CC, he makes execute program. But before he did destroy all software, which was a good site. So when I was starting, like the people in my boot camp, like people were like, they were all like watching these videos and stuff. Because if you never saw the famous WAP video, you gotta watch that. That's a classic. That is like a classic video that you're gonna get left out on inside jokes if you've never watched this video, because when people are talking about WAP, they're talking about this video if you're talking to JavaScript video. JavaScript people. It's a conference talk I think he gave a long time ago that just is really popular, because it just talks about how JavaScript, everything is like, what? It just has all kind of weird stuff in it, because JavaScript was designed in 10 days, supposedly. So that's why there's a lot of like weird kind of things that slowly they've been trying to like make better.
Weren't you like mentioning last week how JavaScript used like an equal and an equal? Like JavaScript is the only language that does that. I think you mentioned that last week.
Oh, I don't know, I forget.
Yeah, there's been interviews with the I forget his name, but I believe he's the CEO of Brave now. But that was like one of his main design regrets of including a soft quality operator. But
yeah, that's Brendan Ike.
Oh, who designed the original JavaScript?
Yeah, and supposedly he made it in 10 days.
Yeah, it was
supposedly
like 2 weeks.
The whole language in 10 days. Wow.
But like supposedly grep, the command line tool, was also made in a day. But I've done some digging and it was like, it was already made, and then Ken Thompson debugged it a little bit and then gave it to his boss.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not the final form that was made in a day, you know, that's just the initial version that they shipped. Because JavaScript's still not, like even the JavaScript case, it still keeps changing, you know, it's been what, 25 years or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
JavaScript.
I mean,
and it's still constantly getting updated.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that story is too unusual. I remember hearing, I think it's JUnit was written on a plane ride. So like they were, I don't remember who wrote it, but they were.
Some people are just prolific. Like, I don't know if you saw TJ Holloway Chuck on my list. Do you know that guy? That guy's a legend, man. Like, there's all this conspiracy theories about how he wasn't a real human, because they're like, how can this guy like if you look on like Holloway Chuck, what is that? Let's see. What is it? There's like all these things, if you go, it's like super funny. And like there was all these conspiracy theories about like trying to see if he was a real person. Because if you look at all the software he's made, it's insane. They're like, how is that even possible that he made like Express, Mocha, like all kinds of stuff. So it was like super funny. There's like all these conspiracy theories. Where is it? And then he just started doing Golang after, and like it's super funny. I think it's this one.
What does he do? I mean,
He's just a really prolific developer. We still don't know, like, people are still debating like if he was like a real person or if it was like a team of people. Because like they're like, have you ever seen him in real life? Who has met him in real life and stuff like that.
That's
There's
always
like,
the first conversation, right?
there's all this stuff on the internet. If you go and you have time and you want to just entertain yourself, go and like look up all this stuff about him. It's pretty funny.
Oh my God,
He
he's
like
single and 26 years old. What the fuck? Oh shoot.
his name is cited
Target.
1.3 million times in public source code.
Good God. Well, I mean,
Well,
you
he's older
look.
now. This comment is old. So he must be.
I mean, the like you look at his GitHub user, and it's literally just TJ. Like he must have got in like at the beginning. You know what I mean?
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
I don't think he does JavaScript anymore though. Like I haven't heard about him in a while. But like when I was first starting, he was like a legend in the JavaScript community because he made everything. Is it? Oh, there's like a site that lists all his projects.
He hasn't been working on stuff for GitHub in a while. Like his last, well, I guess his last contribution was a month ago.
Yeah, like back in the days, I don't know where it is. There's like a page that lists all his projects, and it at the time it was like all these like really popular projects, and he was the person that like made all of them. I think because the most notable ones that pop into my mind are, I'm pretty sure he made Express and Mocha. Mocha used to be a popular testing library. Some people still use it, but like Jess kind of took over. Yeah, founded by
Looks like he's
TJ.
working on his own
Hello,
startup
Chuck.
right now.
Huh?
Looks like he's been busy writing his, doing his own startup right now.
Yeah, he also left. I mean, there was an article, Farewell of Node.js, and he like started doing Golang. So he kind of left the JavaScript community at one point. But yeah, there's just some people that are just super
Oh my God.
productive at just writing code. They're just they just have different genes. I don't know.
Do you know the reason why he chose Golang?
I don't remember. I forget. That was a long time ago.
I've been programming in Go, and I kind of like it. It's really concise and simple for the most part.
Do you find it difficult to program in Go?
No, actually, I found it really easy to pick up. The only thing I think that was difficult about Go was that it doesn't really follow OOP or the other design methodologies so much. And it does have its like, quirks, right? Like if you want a variable to be global or not global, like public, it has to be capitalized, but if you want it to be private, lowercase, which is
Really
interesting.
weird something. Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, I kind of like programming in Go. It's just that it's because the formatting's done for you is standardized. There's really like one or two ways to do something. It's not like Ruby where there's like 5 or 6 different ways to do something. So for that reason, I kind of like it for that. And the standard library is really it's enough to start like a web server to do everything you want pretty much. You don't have to use any of the other libraries.
It's also really popular. Like that's being adopted by a lot of companies. Golang is like one of the popular backends. So the really popular backend languages are like right now are like Python, Golang. Java's still really popular. Java's actually kind of nice now compared to when I first learned it.
What about Kotlin? Isn't that what people are using now, Kotlin?
Yeah, Kotlin too, but
Kotlin is
know.
kind of like Java too, right? It's kind of same as Java.
Yeah, I think Golang is gaining more popularity though. So I think companies depends on the team and depends like if it has machine learning and stuff, I think if you got a bunch of machine learning people, usually there's like a lot of Python backend code. Python seems to be the most popular, I think, still.
Yeah,
Backend languages.
Yeah, I think Python is like the most popular. I think
But-
Node is a little closer behind. No, it's Python and Java, then maybe JavaScript.
Node is still popular, but like it's more popular with like front-end developers. Like back-end developers, they don't like Node as much because they don't like Java. A lot of back-end developers don't like JavaScript.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So like if the front-end developers gotta like write APIs and stuff, they usually do it in Node if they got a choice.
Who was it? Stack Overflow that would publish the most popular language or the upcoming languages?
There's
every
a
year? What is
there's a
that?
They do
bunch now.
insights and trends.
There's a few places.
Oh.
Yeah, state of JavaScript. Well, is
I
it
think
state of
this-
JavaScript?
This is one of the popular ones. There's that. There's a Stack Overflow one. This is not Stack Overflow one. This is independent people, I think, that do it in the community. There's, I think, like Hired, that company Hired does one. There's all these like surveys that come out. But yeah, I think, wonder if they do back end. It's only front end, I think. Yeah, state of JavaScript. So this one's not going to talk about Python. That would be the like front end frameworks.
I like this graph that they have on the technologies. They have like a
Stealth.
4 graph, like assess, adopt, avoid, analyze. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so you can kind of just look at these things to see where things are trending. So see, Preact is gaining less traction and Ember is like done. I think LinkedIn, I think they use Ember. I don't know if they're still using Ember. But I know they were one of the big companies that, well, I don't know. If I remember correctly, I think LinkedIn was like doing Ember.
Wow, Angular is all the way down there.
Yeah, no, JavaScript developers generally don't like Angular. Every single person I talked that worked in like a big Angular code base, they just have horror stories. So, well, Claude's working in Angular. How do you like it, Claude?
You know, I actually hated it in the beginning because React was the first framework library, whatever, that I learned. But you know, I'm starting to understand Angular now, and I've gotten to the point where I get it and I can work with it, and I take some of the good aspects of Angular whenever I'm working with React.
Yeah, you gotta. Speaking of YouTube people,
I remember Angular 1
you
being
can-
really hard to understand. Like I tried
you
to understand Angular 1 and that was just ridiculous.
go watch this guy. This guy rants about Angular all the time.
Yeah, every other video he hates on Angular so much.
Or this must be sarcasm.
Yeah, it is.
It was April Fool's.
Oh, was it? Oh yeah,
Yeah, he makes a song. Like he like rhymes in it, and it's just pretty.
Look at this Angular JS most dreaded framework of 2020.
I do the same thing, honestly. But you know, like I think it was like the last week or like the week before, I noticed that I forgot what we were doing exactly, but like two of the things that you used, like Angular was doing that by default. And that's what I mean by like I guess from like my perspective.
It has, I mean, there's probably like nice stuff about it, but like you got, when you choose a framework, you got to consider like the API, the community, where it's trending. Because if you don't wanna, if something's trending down, chances are like eventually you're going to need to rewrite that code. So React is still dominating, I think. But like according to that survey, like Svelte like coming out fast, and Vue is still really popular too.
Yeah, you know, like I wonder about Vue because people who use Vue seem to love Vue very much, but why isn't it as popular as React?
I think React came out first, right?
React came out first, and then just the community is bigger. And I only like checked out Vue a little bit, so I haven't wrote a lot, but I don't know. It reminded me of Backbone, and I used to write a lot of Backbone. And when I switched from Backbone to React, I like React way better than Backbone.
Vue is like a proper framework. Like it's like opinionated than React. Vue, like if you start like for a beginner, it's actually really easy to get into Vue than React. So Vue does a lot of stuff like VF, V4, it's just built in.
But now you can just use Next.js. Next.js is a framework for
React. For React.
So yeah, now we got React frameworks that didn't come out in. I think Next.js was, well, I guess Create React app. I guess, I don't know, is that considered a framework? I don't know. That's just like a
I don't know if it's true. Like I heard with the new version of the React, you don't need to import React anymore. I don't know if anybody heard that.
Yeah,
like
I think so.
React app? Yeah.
We're not doing it right now. So I think before you had to do it over here too.
Gotcha.
So this is probably using the new version of React. But
I
generally use Next.js now if I just playing around with stuff. It's just super awesome. But it's not, it just sets up auto routing, and it's full stack. So you can write your API endpoints and everything all inside Next.js.
They're like server-side rendering, right? Next.js. So it's
yeah,
good for
you can
SEO.
do that. You can do that too. You don't have to, but it all that stuff comes out of the box. You get a ton of stuff out of the box. TypeScript comes out of the box. You can just name your files TypeScript and start writing TypeScript in Next.js. There's just a lot of nice things. You don't need to set up like React router and stuff. It just has a built-in router.
Yeah. They have like a page folder, right? You just put it in and it's
you
automatically
don't need
goes to the URL.
You don't need to set up an Express server. It just already has like, you just put your API endpoints in a folder and then they just exist when you deploy that.
One thing about Next.js, like I saw like in Gatsby that if you kind of like build a layout for a blog and it creates a page for you on the fly. Does Next.js does that too?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it that deep, but I've used both. I've used Gatsby before, but not for that specific case. So I don't know. But like in general, I like Next.js way better than Gatsby. Also, it just seems like Next.js is just like popularity rise. Maybe I'm just in the Next.js bubble. It seems to be like gaining more traction than Gatsby. Gatsby had a lot of problems too. I don't know. If you don't hang out on Twitter, you probably never saw it, but like there was all kinds of drama with like, I think that was last year in their organization.
Yeah, the CEO, people don't like the CEO for, what was it? I think he said, he either said or some less than favorable comments. And
yeah, there's like a huge drama in the Gatsby organization last year.
Did not know that.
So, yeah, if you hang out on Twitter, you just see everything. So that's why I hang out on Twitter, just to stay 2 steps ahead of everybody else who's not on Twitter. But Brian's on Reddit. Reddit might be even a step ahead of Twitter. Like some people say,
I'm starting to use both.
Some people say that Twitter, like some people draw a graph of like where like the information flow comes from, and they say it starts in like 4chan and then it goes to
Oh.
like Reddit, and then I guess that's more for memes though. But memes convey a lot of information. You know, it's like meme is a jam-packed information into an image.
It's art.
It's like the most efficient way to communicate like a lot of information. So, but that, yeah, I saw something about like how the information flow for like memes goes from 4chan, I think, to Reddit, to Twitter, to Facebook, to LinkedIn, something like that, which is pretty accurate. But you can, there's too many to like go on all of them. So I don't, yeah, I think people just prick. That's why like Brian's more on Reddit. And then I just follow a lot of people. So I've already built up like my information list, you know, so I have like, I follow 3,000 something people. So I already built my bubble of like people that I like get all my signals from, for like where things are moving in the world, to just get a feel of where we're heading, what's going on. Because that's all Twitter is. It's just a real-time information machine. You just see what's happening in the world in real time. And it's only valuable if you learn how to filter out the noise and figure out how to get signal out of it. And once you do that, it's super valuable. Like, I don't think I would be where I am if Twitter never existed. It's just one of my tools in my toolbox that I use.
What was it? What were our stretch goals for this project? We did the highlighter.
Well, Claude did some of it while we were talking.
Claude did like the population.
Yeah, I
numbers-
changed the numbers, and I even added like the comma stuff in it. Like I implemented the comma thing that I learned over the week for my work.
To
Nice.
locale string, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing missing is the default message, which is filtered for, so when there's no query, but like, I don't know, I mean, you get the picture, right? Like, we don't have to implement that. We haven't been like fully completing the exercises. It's just like, as long as we learn something, right?
Yeah, I learned a lot, but I've also been under a rock, so I don't know how things were for the past few weeks.
I mean, I learned how easy it is to use SWR. I've been looking at that thing for a long time. I always go and look at the website, but I never actually like tried it out. So I finally
that was
tried
pretty
it out.
cool actually. I tried it with the async and everything, and then you have to like deal with your error and then write that. But this one is just like 3 lines of code. So I definitely
like,
gonna use this one.
You really see the power like once you have more like deeper child components about how you can just import it like this, and then you get the data. You don't need like Redux selectors and all that kind of stuff. You just use the same hook for everything. So like you don't have to like, okay, now I gotta get a selector and then I gotta dispatch this thing and set up the initial data and reset the data.
Yeah, the Redux flow is like pretty confusing for some that doesn't know it.
Yeah.
Versus
that's why they made these libraries, to like simplify like data fetching, because everybody fetches data mostly for your apps. So
yeah, I learned Redux a couple months ago, and it blew my brain. It overloaded my brain for like the first few days that I was learning it.
It is a lot nicer than it used to be, but there's still a lot of boilerplate. Like you gotta you gotta make the action creators and the and they have Redux tools now that make it easier. So like there's not as much boilerplate, but there's still a lot. Like you still gotta you got to make a separate key for is loading and or is fetching or whatever you want to call it. You got to make a separate key for the error. And
So
this thing just gives you.
So with the like React hooks, like the context API and the reducer hooks,
Yep.
like do you need a Redux, or you that's pretty much the standard in the industry that you have to know the Redux? Like
well,
if with
Redux,
the,
Redux is mature, so you get a lot of tools. Like the Redux dev tools is good, right? Like
right.
I don't think there's React context dev tools. Maybe there is, but the Redux dev tools are pretty awesome. That's like
In Firefox there is. I don't know about
Firefox has.
Yeah, there is a Firefox context dev tool. It's very rudimentary, but it works. I don't know
Yeah,
if there's one
so maybe, but like Redux has like a lot of people that maintain it. So there's the docs are really good, and there's like all kinds of examples of how to do like complex kind of like scenarios. And they have like the Redux dev, I forget what it's called, not the dev tools, the toolbox, I think.
Redux toolkits.
Toolkit, where you can make the slices and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It just has a lot of stuff. So it depends. If your app is small, you probably don't need it. But if you're got like a gigantic global state, like Redux is still a good choice. And it's a safe choice because most developers know how to use it. So like if you're onboarding new people, like they don't have to learn something new. They're already familiar with it. Like in my app at work, we use Redux, but like if I was building it from scratch, I probably wouldn't use it. But like, I mean, we're using it, so I mean, it doesn't bother me too much to like just have to write the boilerplate. But like, if I'm starting a new project, I'll probably use like SWR, and then if I need some kind of something more, then I would consider like if I can just get away with just using React context, or either use like Redux or MobX or something. I used MobX on a project before too.
I did have a question about what's your opinion for a junior developer of like when we are building projects in our portfolio or whatnot, do we have to have the test-driven development approach? Like, do you have to write tests?
That's what I was saying before. Like, I don't even have a portfolio. My portfolio is just my GitHub, and I don't think about all that kind of stuff. I just build stuff that I like, that makes me laugh, or like look at my README. I'm not like building to like, I've never tried to like construct my profile to like try and figure out how to get people to give me a job. My strategy is just to like, just build stuff,
have fun,
and then keep meeting people and just keep getting better. And then that's how I got jobs. I just kept meeting stuff, that's basically what I did. I kept building stuff, I kept meeting people. And then those people that I met saw the stuff I'm building, or I built it with them at like hackathons, and they referred me to jobs. That's how I got jobs, rather than making a portfolio and then like figuring out what do people want to see and stuff like that. But like, because it's probably good to have a portfolio, but like, I don't know, this kind of is a portfolio, right? People go to your GitHub, like all the recruiters go to your GitHub. You can just pin your 6 favorite ones, boom, that's a portfolio, in my opinion. So I don't know. It doesn't hurt, I think, to have a portfolio. It also gives you something to work on. Like I have my own site, but like if you look at my projects, a lot of it is just, look, I just made like a meme generator. I just make stuff that just I think is funny. This is my personal site, but it doesn't have any projects on it. It just has like this like video I made. This is my like dev bootcamp like application video. When I applied to dev bootcamp, you had to like teach them how to do something. When I went, at least, and I just made a video about how to be stoked every day. And then this video is about growth mindset. I found this video when I was at Dev Bootcamp. That's when they're the one that taught me about growth mindset. So they drilled growth mindset into us every day. That was like something that they always like talked about, because Dev Bootcamp focused more on soft skills, I think. There's like heavy emphasis on soft skills. So they talked about growth mindset all the time. We had to do like engineering empathy like sessions and all kinds of stuff like that.
What's that? What's engineering empathy?
It's kind of like therapy. It was people say that boot camp was like a cult. It was kind of cultish actually. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was fun.
So like what was discussed within it?
Just I don't know. I don't remember. My memory sucks. It was just I forget. It was like therapy though. You had to like talk about like emotional kind of things. But they did all kinds of stuff. Like you in the morning, we would do 2-minute check-ins. Like you sit in a circle, so like like a cult. Like this. You sit in a circle, and before you start working, everybody has 2 minutes to give like what's going on. Like, do you have problems at home? Like, how are you feeling? Like, just so you can build empathy for everybody. You know, like why they're grumpy right now, or like why they're sad right now. You know why they're mad, why they're happy. You would come and you'd say in 2 minutes, like, oh, like I got in a fight with my girlfriend, so yeah, I'm kind of bummed out right now, whatever. You just say, you're supposed to be honest and just let out whatever is like going on with you right now. People would cry. You're supposed to like let it all out, so that when because we did all pair programming, then you can have empathy for the person that you are pairing with. You kind of know why they're like in the mood they're in, and then you can maybe like communicate differently with them. And then like if you cry, then you could try and like let it out before you start like coding and stuff like that. That was like why they did that. Like we did that before we did anything. That was the first thing we did when we came in. We just sat in these circles and did these, like they called it check-ins.
I feel like no, we sat in a circle and the first thing we did was cry. I was like, wow.
That's an interesting experience. Now I kind of want to have gone to.
People cried every day at the boot camp, at least when I went there. It was because it was super intense, you know. So people are like under a lot of pressure, and people had like problems at home, and because like if you had a family, that puts a lot of stress in your family. Like you're spending all day at this thing. Like it was really intense. I stayed at the campus from 9 a.m. to midnight every day on average. I mean, I wasn't coding the whole time, but like I was nerding out on something, you know. So either we're doing like the curriculum projects, or I was like making stupid like meme generator kind of stuff. I've always been just making stuff that make me laugh. That's just because then if you make stuff that's fun, then you want to just keep developing your skills, right? If you do stuff that's not fun, then you don't want to do it. Then you code less. And the way you get better at coding is you code a lot. That's the only way to get better, and I think.
That's so true.
You just have to code a lot. That's how you get better. There's no shortcut. You just gotta code a lot, and that's how you get better. So it's easier if you just make stuff that you like or that you need to use or something. If you look at my repos, I mean, I just have all kinds of like, what else did I make? I made this like Bitcoin treasure map. I made this thing. What you know about Contra? I wonder if that's still up. Oh, it might be still up.
Okay.
Like actual, well, what kind? Oh, it is.
Oh, let's
launching.
see it. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A. Oh, does it still work?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't work though. It's broken.
What is it supposed
I
to
never
do?
actually beat the game though. Have you ever beaten the game? Even with that cheat?
Oh yeah, I was a Nintendo fanatic, man, when I was a little kid.
That was a hard
I
game.
stayed up all night. I think I beat Super Mario Brothers the first day I got Nintendo. Because I stayed up, I got the Nintendo and I stayed up all night and played Super Mario Brothers.
Did you hear about the
And-
speed run? Apparently a guy beat Super Mario or Mario Brothers in under 4 minutes, 55 seconds. Like,
Yeah, there's a huge history behind. I watched a video recently. There's a huge history behind Super Mario speedruns, like
Yeah.
the original Mario Brothers.
yeah.
Because there's a lot of like things. There's a lot of techniques that you could use that people were thinking was only tool assisted only, and then people figured out how to not make it tool assisted only. But that took like 5 years, and yeah, it's
I didn't
interesting.
even know about the wall jump. I didn't even know there was that glitch in Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
That was new. I mean, I didn't know you could do that.
So,
it's intense. Speedrunning is fun.
so look, I made like these stupid kind of stuff to be like, when Facebook came out with the reactions, I used to use Facebook a lot and I hated when I scrolled the screen that the reactions would just always pop up. And I didn't want to use the reactions. I only wanted to I wanted to keep using just the thumbs up. So I made like a Chrome extension to like turn it off, and I put this middle finger icon on the Chrome extension. It actually got some, well, I got 4 stars still. I have 55 users. So I would just make stuff like that. I'm just like, I hate this thing. I'm gonna make a Chrome extension so that it doesn't show up anymore.
So that's kind of what I'm doing with my app right now. But Sam, I
like-
actually ran into your GitHub unknowingly. Like I was searching for a tool, and then I was like, "Wait, this looks really." And then I got to your homepage. It was the dogs. I was like,
but do you see what I'm saying? Like I didn't make stuff because like I'm trying to think like what people will like. I made stuff that I like. So yeah. So I don't know. But I mean, like I said, it can't hurt to make a portfolio site and then to put tests in it. But like most of the time, people just want to talk to you. So like if you can just talk about stuff you made and it's interesting, that's good enough. Like nobody wants to like sit down and dig through your GitHub and like, did they put tests in this thing? And they maybe like when they're screening you, they might glance at it real quick just to see if like the code is readable and stuff, but they're not gonna spend like a ton of time like pouring through all your code. I don't think they would. They need to screen a lot of candidates, so they don't have time to do that. Usually a lot of companies will just do like HackerRank has like, if you're applying front end, they have like they just give you like a HackerRank
like
front end screening test,
Screening
and
test.
then it just scores you, and then they just pick the highest scores, pretty much.
For a front end developer interview, like it's a front end job, right? You need to have like JavaScript, React, or whatever. It's just a front end. Do you still do algorithms in the whiteboard in an interview, or it depends on the company?
It depends on the company. So most likely, if I interviewed at Google before, at the time it was still all on the whiteboard. I think they might have changed it, but they incorporate algorithms into like front end kind of challenges. So yeah, like how do you make like I forget what it was, like the URL shorteners and stuff like that.
So for practicing algorithms with JavaScript I know like there's like cracking the coding interview that's written in Java, and then lead code. Is that the two resource? Is there any other resource for JavaScript algorithm practices?
Yeah, there's ton, but like I don't know. It's not something I would focus on unless you're going for FANG.
Okay.
I haven't had a lot of algorithm questions in interviews. I mean, you should know the basics though, like how to manipulate strings and use arrays and all the array like algorithm kind of challenges. But like, you don't need to like study dynamic programming and stuff. I've never used dynamic programming in my career, like in the code I wrote. So I think it's a waste of time to study dynamic programming unless you're going to interview at like Facebook, because then there's a chance that they'll ask you dynamic programming. But like, so it's not just for interviewing. You should still learn basic algorithms and data structures. Like you got to know hash tables and arrays and strings, stacks, queues. Those are like the basic building blocks. We're just building stuff. But like beyond that, you don't need to dig into it that much. I mean, you should know how trees and graphs work, but you don't need to. If you're a front-end developer, you don't need to like dig in super deep to like whatever all the algorithms are for like A* search or whatever. I don't even remember how to do all that stuff because I don't use it in my I mean, I learned it because I have a computer science degree, but I got it a long time ago. I don't think I ever understood. I probably just barely passed the course. So, but I don't use it as a front-end developer. It's more useful to do, for front-end interviews, I find it more useful to do these kind of challenges. That's why I'm going through the JavaScript 30. Because if I'm going through interviews, I'll revisit this and at least watch all the videos again, just to refresh my memory. Because West Boss did a good job of like picking like very common useful things you can use to build lots of different kind of apps. See, he does the Konami code here. Is just really good. This kind of thing, front-end mentor is like good. Oh, did I spell it wrong? I put front. Because like
oh yeah,
this might be like a
snippet.
It's more like a real front-end challenge. Like I've had interviews like that where they're like, okay, you got 2 hours, here's the mock-up, make it and then email us back what you built, and then they'll talk to you about like the code you wrote, stuff like that. But if it's FANG, you're probably gonna you definitely probably gotta like brush up on data structure and algorithms more. Like you'll have to do practice leak code, or even if it's a startup where it's like a lot of people, like the founders and stuff, like they came from like Google and Facebook and stuff like that, then they might have brought over that culture to the startup, you know. But like most of the startups that like, they're just looking for people who can just build what they want to build, and they don't care if you know how to do A* search. If it's a front-end position, this is like front-end specific position. They just want to know.
It was
like
a front
even
position in Amazon.
And you Amazon, you probably gotta brush up on data structures and all that.
Yeah.
But you can always ask. I always ask the recruiter. I try to get exactly. I'll try to ask him exactly like what's gonna be in the technical interview. If they won't tell you exactly, then just be like, is it gonna be data structures and algorithms or practical like front end challenge? You can ask those kind of questions. Just try to get as much information as you can so you know what to study. But I like Code Signal more than Leak Code.
Code Signal, okay, didn't know that.
It's more gamified. It's more like a video game. It's actually called the arcade, I think. I'm not logged in right now. They have, you can do like company challenges.
So these are the challenges from the interview from that company. I know LeetCode has like a Facebook questions, right? Or
You
Amazon
have
questions.
to, you have to pay though, I think, on LeetCode to get the
Okay.
company.
Yeah, right. You have to pay.
Questions.
Right.
It might be worth it though. I did that when I like interviewing at Facebook and Google. I just upgraded to LeetCode Pro for like the month while I was practicing, just so I could get the company's questions. But yeah.
Did any questions came up? Was it common or no?
I don't remember. I don't think so. I don't think you'll get the exact like same LeetCode question. But yeah, I'm not super good at algorithm and stuff. I'm just good at copy pasta. That's my style. I look up the thing and I'm like, okay, copy this and paste it into my code and change it to make it work.
Paycheck, here I come.
What is that?
That was like paycheck, here I come.
Everybody's good at different things, right? Like I'm pretty detail oriented, so like I can like notice patterns and stuff. That's why I like to copy pasta and stuff too, because I'm good at noticing patterns and stuff, but I'm not good at like algorithms is not like something I'm strong at. That's probably more why I gravitate to front end, because I don't need to focus on that as much. Like as if I was like the back end developing some sophisticated algorithm to like do the traveling salesman problem to like figure out the route of efficiently delivering all the stuff like that. It's not something I would enjoy doing. I think I probably could figure it out, but it doesn't come natural to me.
Yeah, I was watching like an older JDHH video, and I think you mentioned there that sometimes you pull up like your old code and you just copy paste from there.
I do that all the time. I'm like copy pasta champion. I even copy pasta like my coworkers' code. I just copy it and like start with the code. It's already written. Might as well just copy it over and then modify it to like what I want to do. It's already doing something similar. It's easier than starting from scratch. I mean, and when they have good docs, they make it easier. Like that's what we just did, right? I just copied this thing and it just worked. I just changed this and this and this. I didn't even need to think about it. I didn't even read the docs. I don't even know how this thing works. I didn't read anything. All I did was copy this, and it was intuitive enough that it seemed, I just thought it would work. And it did. Look at that. First try. We didn't even have to do anything. It just worked on the first try. Copy pasta. Like if I was pushing this to production though, I would research what this actually does. Like I didn't look up what this does, right? It was in the example, so I just left it. But like if I was making a PR or something, I would make sure we actually need this, because like I only want to put the minimal amount of code that we need. I don't like to put extra things that are not necessary.
Oh, thank you, Sam. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours. I gotta stop the stream, but like, yeah, I'll see you guys
Thanks for hosting.
next week.
Thank you for hosting.
Thanks for hosting. Yeah, it has been fun. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, no problem. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.